large standpoint, the NBA bubble continues to inch closer to the playoffs. The NHL has its seeding and matchups and will start, I know, Wednesday, a couple of first-round matchups. Baseball is dealing with the same issues that they dealt with when the Marlins shut the season down for a couple of days. And, oh, by the way, if you thought that the NFL was just calmly waiting in the weeds for its moment, enter college football with a pretty big storyline right now today. Now, all of that should, I would think, pale in comparison to what we saw across 4 days of golf. And I honestly don't even know where to begin outside of the obvious. In 5 minutes, we'll mention the winner first, because this guy has played himself into a top 5, top 6 world ranking. And the guy who had it through 54. Those are the two most compelling storylines for me, but there are so many. Golf has never seen this level of success outside of one individual tearing through the sport. And the obvious answer would be Tiger Woods, but we really haven't seen this level of excitement and play from a betting. Do we need to go through the top 20s and top 10s that we gave out on Wednesday? We might as well just replay that segment with Balaji and then Mays after, because we gave out 5 winners. Hopefully you played them, including Morikawa and Day as top 10 finishers. Boy, Jason Day, DJ, Morikawa. We'll talk about it all.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices.
Again?
Yeah. The Best Hotel Rates
keeps missing out on all the fun, man.
BestHotelRates.com. It's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
I know.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal. We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who will get the IRS off your back.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Call Tax Solutions now. Time is running out. Call 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744.
You're listening to the Sports Map Radio Network. Broadcasting safely with our mask from Boomer Naturals.
Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code SportsMapRadio for 20% off.
Do we have any Boomer Naturals hit today?
You do every single day.
No, I meant like the interview.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Your next one's not until August 20th.
Wow.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Well, we've got two major stories going on today. One is the hypothetical of college football and what's going to happen. The athletic directors spoke, the Big 12, Big 10 conferences that are looking to actually shut down versus where people are in wanting to stay open versus play. Now, there are tweets that are coming out where the hashtag We Want to Play is being populated by a ton of actual football players. Now, some have opted out, and that's another issue here, is that you're dealing with schools that are hopefully not losing, but some have some pretty big impact players that have said no. A couple of people, Matt Hayes, at Matt Hayes CFB, Power 5 AD just texted me. It's looking more and more like it's Big 10 and Pac-12 versus SEC, ACC, and Big 12. And that's not some tournament that's being set up. That's who's going to cancel their season. And cancel versus delay is a little difficult right now to determine. So college football, right, first and foremost, college football has to determine themselves what they're going to do with this year. Calendar year or season. It's really different if you just postpone into the winter or spring and play football then. February, April, those types of months in which you can get out and actually have a season. Unfortunately, though, it looks like cancellation could be in this where they're just going to throw their arms up, Big 10 and Pac-12 specifically, and cancel their season, which I think is a shame because if you look at where this calendar is and where we could be in February, March, April, there really isn't any need right now to definitively cancel. But we know that there is going to be a lot of question marks to get to that point about if it's even safe. And now you have the biggest crux of this issue, of course, is that there's no real governing body for college football. The NCAA is not that. So everybody is in their own Power 5 conference, and they have to figure it out on their own. And while there is a commissioner of a conference, ADs and schools, and the bigger ones, of course, in each conference, are the ones that are going to speak mostly for these conferences. It's no knock on Nebraska, Iowa, but they're not enough to overcome a vote in the Big Ten, let's say, that everybody else is like, no, we're not doing this. If Penn State, Ohio State come down and say there's no Big Ten football, it doesn't matter if Nebraska is trying to go back to the Big 12 or wherever it may be. They're not playing football, Big Ten sanctioned football this year. This is a mess mainly because we just don't have any idea where we're going. We don't have any idea where we're moving forward right now and how close this actually is to a restart versus, nope, you're probably not going to see college football, if at all, until March. Now, we'll chat with our NFL insider at 11:40 Eastern, John McMullen, about this conversation and how, if at all, it's impacting the NFL. I do imagine that the NFL has an eye on what college football is doing, but there's just so much more at stake for a college campus, for kids that are back, not just student athletes, as ridiculous and wonky of a term as that is, it's not just your football players, your lacrosse players, your field hockey players, your men's and women's soccer, baseball, or basketball players, softball players for that matter. It's not just, it's everybody else who comes into contact. It's going to be difficult for any school to maintain this. Wow. It's coming out. The Big 12 is, no, and all of these rumors about the Big 12 taking Nebraska back is nonsense. There is one question about, see, you can't allow a transfer to happen just because there are COVID protocols in place that are preventing a school from playing football. So no, Big 12, ACC, SEC, you should not be allowed to just pinch a player right now because that player's conference has come down and said it's not safe to play. Completely different set of circumstances that should not be applied here at all. The other storyline is what happened in the PGA Championship, and it's not even halfway through the season, but Colin Morikawa has done something truly special, and it's not even just winning this major. It's not just taking home the PGA Championship and what looked to be like, I don't know, 10 degrees out there. It was cold. Whenever you see golfers constantly blowing into their hands, rubbing their hands, trying to keep warm, you know it's cold out there. A lot of activity, and yet still these guys were cold. And there are two competing storylines in what happened yesterday and what happened over the weekend and truly these 4 days of golf. It's the same old, where here's Dustin Johnson in the lead, 54 holes in, and you're actually approaching now Greg Norman status, in which it's pretty much a lock that Dustin Johnson's going to find a way to lose that tournament. And he was even through the majority of the day, which just isn't enough. It's not enough. Wound up 2 under, but still, that was the difference between 11 under and 13 under where Morikawa was. And we'll get back to DJ in a second here, but Morikawa, to lose that playoff in the first match, in the first playoff, in the first tournament of the season. Not everybody, and this is a young kid who clearly has no fear, and he's a joy to watch. He really is, especially with his irons. My goodness, he's got to be, I don't even have the stats in front of me, but he's got to be one of the best ball strikers with his irons in a while. Consistent, can hit for distance. It's a beauty to watch. And really, if you have any association or connection with the game, everybody's watching everybody's footwork. You're watching all of the little idiosyncratic things guys do before they set up. But Morikawa hits the ball with his irons as good as anybody on this tour. And the redemption tour is over. He already won earlier, following that meltdown where he missed an easy putt in the playoffs and handed things over in the first week of action to Daniel Berger. Morikawa has done nothing since then but play himself into a top 5, top 6 world ranking. And nobody was going to dominate this course and that weather through 4 days. Nobody was going to do it. But he did something that was more special than anybody else. Up until yesterday, up until Sunday, 65 was the low round, which is crazy to think about, that the low round that you saw, a 65, came on Saturday. Now, others shot it as well. Came on Saturday where Morikawa himself finished Saturday with a 65. So here you have a guy who is hovering around par, 69 for 2 straight days, makes this incredible surge on Saturday and bucks the trend, a major trend, which is if you're going to have your best day, don't do it on Saturday. If you're in contention here, that's why I thought for Dustin Johnson, it was a pretty safe bet that he wasn't going to be a winner, despite some favorable odds, even after we saw an even day for a little bit. And DJ fall, those final 2 birdies definitely helped move him up, tied for a top 2 finish. So if you had him a top 5, You still got that. But it was difficult. It's always difficult. Nobody does this. Nobody does this, especially in a major. That was special. That and Morikawa now is going to be a name that people will follow, that people, I don't think that it's going to be like Koepka or other names that we saw, even a Jason Day, as far as, clearly not Bryson. And we'll talk about Bryson because he's probably the third storyline in all of this, following what happened with Morikawa and how bad it's got now for DJ holding a 54-hole lead, especially at a major. But nobody does what Morikawa did. You don't shoot the course, the round that you had, which is the best for the 3 days on a Saturday, and then bounce back and shoot one shot better. Just doesn't happen. Where you go into this 69, 69, 65, and the expectation is, all right, if he can get by with the 67 or 68, he's done something really incredible. If he can hold on, and those 4 strokes would be a significant difference. I mean, they would knock him to 9 under in a tie with Justin Rose for 9th. So think about the difference there of where we kind of expected. And it's not just Colin Morikawa, it's anybody. We've been betting consistently, fading the guy who has the round of the tournament on Saturday, only to bounce back with not much. And again, if you think that it's no big deal between the difference of 1 or 2 strokes, that was the difference between Dustin Johnson finishing 2 off and forcing a playoff, or simply just winning. That 65 on Saturday, combined with where he was atop the leaderboard heading into the final day, simply undid him. He became unwound, and it was just not difficult like we've seen in the past, hitting balls in the water, finishing +3, but no real risk and no real reward. And to watch that for a guy who's just holding on as much as possible with both hands, clenched fists, just refusing to give this thing up. And here comes Morikawa. And again, I'll harp on this all damn day because I don't think a lot of people understand how difficult this was in the settings and where he was physically on the course, being cold weather and that being a different change, as challenging as the course was on Sunday, and he owned it. Owned it. It was a thing of beauty to see somebody master a course on Saturday and come back and say, well, I still have work left to do. And shoot a 64 to clinch everything. My goodness. Now, it's no knock on Paul Casey and that 66 that allowed him to slide in number 2, but Colin Morikawa is one of the best golfers on tour and probably one of the most consistent golfers right now in the PGA Tour, and I don't even know if it's close. Yes, Bryson DeChambeau is there. You can't sneeze away a top 5 finish for a guy who definitely found his way over Saturday and Sunday. Man, watching Bryson he's just a different dude. He's just a different cat. And I think that the mannerisms, again, everybody has their own idiosyncrasies out there before they hit a ball. But Bryson has become must-watch. I'm just fascinated by everything Bryson does. And I say this as an average golfer. 96 to 110 is usually the range of any day that it could be. So I'm by no means somebody who has mastered even my own game. But I could watch Tony Finau. I could watch Justin Rose. Here's Xander. We gave you that top 20 finish. That's 5 straight top 20 finishes now for Xander. Everybody has something that they're doing, either that everybody else is doing consistently, like their footwork, or they're doing something just a little different as far as maybe a hitch or how they shift. Bryson just is a different cat altogether. It's like watching, the first time you started to see a 7'1" guy maneuver and really be able to play behind the arc, knock down threes, a little athletic ability, put the ball on the floor, and all of a sudden you're talking about a 7'1" 3. First time you saw that, and I don't mean like Kevin Garnett, or somebody like that playing into that position. It's just he's different. Everybody else is doing one thing. He's doing the opposite, and I'm fascinated by it. 800-224-2004 is your phone number. At Shander Show's how you get me on Twitter. Twitch.tv/Shander Show. College football is in jeopardy. There's a report that 2 power conferences will cancel their season tomorrow. And also, one of the best, probably one of the top 5 majors you've ever seen that did not include Tiger Woods with a chance to win it. Those 2 storylines will continue. John McMullen, 1140 Eastern, second level on Sports Map Radio.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault.
Our next guest here on the Progressive Guest Line is a Pro Football Hall of Famer and a guy who, me growing up in the Boston area, watching Andre Reed catching passes was a thing of beauty.
Patriots fan, you know what? Foxborough Stadium was the worst stadium in all of sports. It was so bad.
I can't argue with that. I mean, that's why they tore it down and put up the new one.
Foxborough Stadium, in the corners of the stadium when it was turf, it was rolled up like a carpet in the corners of the end zone. So if you ran a corner route into the end zone, good luck.
In the metal bleachers, I mean, that's where my first football game ever that I went to was a Patriot game in their 2-14 season, sitting in the cold bleachers, freezing my tail off. So yeah, that was not a fun place to go play. And I'm assuming going to the ground wasn't that fun either, landing on that turf.
Oh my gosh, it was like playing on concrete, no doubt about it.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault, weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
Into the night.
Now, what's the time difference in New Zealand and Australia down under? I have no idea.
18 hours or something crazy like that. Let's see.
We can bet on something before it happens. We'll know. That's typically what you do, is betting on something before it happens.
That's usually how it works.
About the other way.
If you can figure out how to bet on something that's already happened, like it didn't happen, you tell me how to do that.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays, weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Into the Night.
Now, what's the time difference in New Zealand and Australia down under? I have no idea.
18 hours or something crazy like that. Let's see.
We can bet on something before it happens. We'll know. That's typically what you do, is betting on something before it happens.
That's usually how it works.
About the other way.
If you can figure out how to bet on something that's already happened, like it didn't happen, you tell me how to do that.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays, weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Wake up call!
You know, somebody told me I look like years ago.
Who's that?
Sean Miller, that was the head coach at Arizona.
Okay, I can see that.
I was just hoping when somebody told me Sean Miller, I was kind of like, please tell me Sean Miller is like a sex symbol at the University of Arizona. Like they want him to appear in calendars and everything like that.
But is it Sean Miller after a game?
Yeah, who's drenched in sweat?
Yeah.
I don't know how to take that.
You know what? There's only one way to do it. Go for a jog today.
Right.
You guys do a picture of Sean Miller post-basketball game and you.
If I ever interview Sean Miller, I should say, people tell me I look like you. Do people ever tell you look like me?
I think you should. Wasn't he under FBI investigation?
Yeah, you're right. He's part of that.
Quick heads up for you.
Yeah.
I will not be in tomorrow.
Keep your job.
No.
Yeah, I'll be out.
Everything all right?
So you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. My youngest's birthday, so the wife and I are taking him to Build-A-Bear.
Nice. Hey, hold on 1 sec. I'm sorry. 1 sec.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
All right. Tony, Jake, or Eitan, there's only one man who knows all three of us as well as Ron Culver does, and that's Ron Culver. So you hear Tony in the morning, 7 to 9 Eastern. You hear Jake Asman before me, 9 to 11 Eastern, and then me, 11 to 1. And in case you didn't know, Ron Culver sits there and deals with the latter two and has fun with the former, with the first. Is that an accurate description?
Sometimes.
Okay. So I'll ask you a question. Tony, Jake, or Eitan, who's more likely to actually read instructions on
Tony.
anything?
I'm torn between. Well, I'm going to say first gut reaction was Tony.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Here's the reasoning why. Tony, I think, wants to get the job done, and he wants to get it done efficiently. Jake will pawn it off on somebody else because he doesn't have the tools for whatever set of instructions are needed. I think you will maybe. I'm thinking about this as like an IKEA cabinet. I think you will look at the picture and like, oh, I can figure this out.
Yeah, I haven't started looking at instructions until I got married, or technically started living with my fiance, where there was somebody else holding me accountable if, in fact, it wasn't put together correctly.
Right.
All right, Tony, Jake, or Eitan, who's most likely to fall asleep on the couch? Always sleeping on the couch.
Well, I got to say Tony for that because I know for a fact he does it all the time. He usually sits there in the middle of the night and takes a nap.
Yeah, that's me too.
Is that you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because we don't have a TV in the bedroom, so I like to fall asleep with the TV on, and I usually fall asleep with the dog on me on the couch and King of Queens
So
reruns running.
you're using the dog as a blanket? That's nice.
Especially in the winter.
My wife just called just a few minutes ago. I know this is a little off topic, but it deals with dogs. My wife just called a few minutes ago, like, literally during your last segment, and was telling me, she's like, yeah, our dog was just barking up a storm, our little dog. And I'm like, oh, why? Was there a dog in our yard or something like that? She goes, well, yeah, there was just some dog walking through the neighborhood, no owner, just, doing its business on each yard as it's moving along. I'm like, all right.
Good thing that your dog's alerting, though.
Yeah, I mean, that makes me feel good, if there's ever a car issue, but now I know I have a present when I get home. Hopefully he didn't do the second one. He just did the first, and I don't care.
Correct. Absolutely. I think I think your dog is doing the right thing as a
It's a
watchdog.
good service.
Yes, absolutely. Great service. But you still are going to have to deal with the other dog and what they left you. Right?
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
If there is something there, which, keep my fingers crossed there's not.
All right, Tony, Jake, or Eitan, who's a craft beer snob?
You.
I don't remember. We have a
I
promo
know
with White Claw.
I know, but you would be the only one. I don't know if Jake drinks, and if he does drink, I think he does. He I don't want to say that drink. Maybe I'll class it up a little. Maybe a margarita or a daiquiri.
Okay.
I was about to say he might go Cosmo.
Now Tony
But-
isn't like Tony. I
Tony's
only
not really a
drink
drinker.
Sam Adams or something like that.
No, he's not real. I don't know if he ever drinks beer ever.
I don't think any of us do, to be honest.
Yeah. So out of the right question is me, or the right answer is me.
Is you?
Yeah, I'm the craft beer snob because that's all I drink.
I could see you being a craft.
Except I will say this: over the last 2-3 weeks now, I've just been a White Claw guy because
I love
it's
amazing, isn't it?
Well, no, it's 110 degrees outside. I did this last summer too. Last summer was my first summer where I was ashamed, and then towards the end of summer I embraced it. This summer I just jumped both feet in. I was like, I don't care. It's 110 degrees outside. I want something that's cool and refreshing, and gets me that good feelings, the good vibes.
I'm glad that the promo has worn off on you.
I never shamed you at all.
Okay, just making sure.
No, I just made a promo that made you look bad. I never personally shamed you.
Got it. Okay, just want to make sure. Speaking of shame, who has done the walk of shame in a Halloween costume?
Funny enough, I'm probably gonna have to go with Jake. Well,
couldn't you see Jake in that? He's a little
Yes.
younger, so
I don't know how much experience one has had.
What was the most popular Halloween costume like 8 years ago? That's probably what Jake was
Well,
in,
you can't go 8 years ago on Jake. He was in junior high.
How old? I thought he's like 27, 28. Is he younger than that?
I don't know. I thought he was like 12.
All right, let's say that 3 years ago. All right. Well, I couldn't even tell you what's happened.
Well, Jake
over the
already
last
told
3
me
years.
what his Halloween costumes have been the last several years.
Oh, perfect.
He's either gone as Jake from State Farm, or what was the other one? It was something ridiculous, like he paint his eyes black and goes, wear a shirt that says P and be a black-eyed P.
No, that's terrible. Jake,
No, but it was something along that level. I'll remember it.
I could see him doing the walk of shame in that red shirt and the khakis. Jake from State Farm doing the walk of shame from one dorm to another. John McMullen's next.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket.
What was it? It was something so stupid.
Is that on a promo? I think I heard it on a promo.
We can help.
Right?
Well, the Jake from State Farm is.
Yeah. Okay.
Mortgage rates are near.
But there was something else that he did, like the costume he wore or something. It was similar to, just a play on words. Oh, he oh shit, what was it? He dressed up. He'd wear a suit.
Great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost.
Yeah, but what is it? But there's a reasoning behind it. It was like a dressed up. Oh, damn it. I'm not going to remember.
No exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to
There's like a saying, like fancy something or dressed up something, and that's what he did.
In all 50 states, and MLS number 3030.
Dell supports America's entrepreneurs during Small Business Month with all
I'll find it. I'll it's going to
Yeah,
please.
Computers and servers with Intel Core processors. Upgrade to new modern devices with Windows 10. Plus save on top brand tech while enjoying free shipping on everything. And special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call 877-ASK-DELL to talk to a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the tech that's just right. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusinessdeals.
Third floor study hall. First floor homeroom. My dining room table.
Wherever school happens for you this year, Staples has everything from notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to face masks. Now at Staples, get 20% off your in-store purchase of hand sanitizer, masks, and
it was fancy something.
20 off PPE for your coupon.
In front of
So the Big Ten has officially canceled.
Kiddo. Staples.
Is that breaking just now?
It looks
Exclusions apply. See store for
11:25.
details.
Sources
Curbside available in most
Chris
stores.
Solari.
From muscle pain,
Michigan
body aches
State
to
football men's
strains,
basketball
Blue Emu
reporter.
Maximum Arthritis. It works fast, and you won't stink. Its unique formula with emu oil penetrates deep to relieve arthritis
Now
pain,
that's a third
sore muscles, joints,
voice
and
doing-
more. Blue Emu
doing
Maximum
emu.
Arthritis. It works fast, and you won't stink. Find Blue Emu at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and other chains, or visit blue-emu.com.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay?
All right, so we have John here.
Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to
Is it too late, you think, to
besthotelrates.com,
get somebody
enter
on
your email
1240?
address,
Do you have
and
any
start
good college
shopping
people?
for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com. It's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
That covers the Big Ten. You love this song, huh?
You're listening to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores. Here's Eitan.
I play it just for John.
See, I'm trying to figure this out. I hear this song once a day with Ron Culver, and I'm trying
No,
to
you
figure
don't. You don't hear it once a day.
Oh,
You hear,
easily.
No, you hear it twice a week.
No.
Yes.
It's got to be more than
No,
that.
it's twice a week.
Is it every time John comes on? Because I heard it
Yes.
when Harry Mays was on with us on
Well, I
Wednesday.
know I might have done it for Harry too.
Now-
but I usually do this song for John.
Has John McMullen at JF McMullen, our Philadelphia Eagles insider, and you can hear him.
I couldn't hear it, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh man, well
Perfect.
Eitan will sing it for you.
It's that song where the woman is barely talking. What's that new thing where you have that type of talking into a microphone that's really low? Not this. Now, can you hear this?
Yeah, I can hear it. I can barely hear the talking part.
Well, it's
Maybe that's why.
yeah, it's done like that on purpose. Now, I had no idea that you were such a big fan of this song that you asked Ron Culver ahead of time to play it as your introduction.
I'm such a big fan. I had no idea, but I'm just thrilled to have theme music.
Well, yeah, Now, do we need imaging, and do we need to set this thing up and have this song behind it?
Maybe we need to start doing that. Take it a step further now, right?
Seriously.
Small victories, man. Somebody wants to give you something, take it.
No wonder why, John, and it makes sense now that your background on Twitter at JF McMullen would be you on Mad Dog Sports Weekend with probably Lance Meadow or somebody like that, as opposed to something honoring us and you being on with this network.
Here's the thing for that. And by the way, I'll change it pretty quickly because I got to change. But my buddy was listening at that time and managed to take a picture of it. So I need a picture of something. Like, I can't do it myself. I'm not in the car, so
that's true.
If you can get me a picture, I'll gladly put it up there.
Absolutely. And look, we can't compete with Lance Meadows, so I understand it's going to be difficult anyway.
I think it was David Moulton, though.
Oh, I don't know David. So the guys change and names come up all the time. Well, we've got baseball that's canceled another series. The Big 12, it looks like 18 minutes ago, there was a report that came out from Chris Solari that they've canceled football this year. Is the NFL even paying attention to everything going on right now, or has nothing changed since Thursday with the NFL since we last spoke, outside of names that we know have opted out?
Now, full steam ahead, man. They are full steam ahead. I don't think it's a good comparison because college has a lot of issues that the NFL doesn't have. You're talking about, from the league's perspective, you're talking about adults making the decision to play with the union, negotiating on their behalf. So, NFL is always often points out these are joint negotiations, and they are. It's the NFL and the NFLPA, so both sides have to agree. So that's number one, and I think that's the biggest part of it. And then, as I've said on the show numerous times, follow the money. If you're a reporter, you learn that basically day one. And they're not walking away from $8 billion. They're just not.
No.
Unless they're forced to, as I've always said.
Right, and I do wonder if you look at what's happening with college football, I imagine that they're going to hold on. That's a moneymaker in its own right. And they're going to hold on to every possible scenario of them playing football somewhere in 2021 as opposed to 2020. And that really is the only wiggle room the NFL has. But even then, it's kind of like tacking on, right, the first month to the back end of the season. My point of asking this question, John, is it seems as much as there is full steam ahead, there isn't really a parachute or netting below the NFL to kind of move around or navigate through any type of issues that could cause a change or force a change in scheduling.
No, ironically, I think if they don't play college football at all, and I think certain conferences, and that's another problem, you have different decision makers. Obviously, you have one unilateral group making that decision for the NFL. And then the players, as I said, whereas you have conference after conference after conference that has to make individual decisions. So that makes it more complicated as well. But if they don't play college football, that opens up Saturdays. And in theory, you can massage the schedule far more. Obviously, there's only certain things you can do because football's a game you can't play twice a week. You can't play double headers. It's not a physically possible from that standpoint. So you're limited from that aspect. But it does open up some things. And then the second part is most places, I think, are not going to have fans, certainly in the Northeast, certainly in certain places. So you have more wiggle room from that aspect because you don't have to worry about the logistics of fans who are scheduled to come and all that kind of thing. You can move things that way pretty easily.
So theoretically, every night of the week could be open.
Yeah. I mean,
Friday night football.
So if you think about MetLife Stadium as dark, they've already said both the Giants and Jets. Not going to be any fans.
Right.
Obviously, the building's not booked. You don't have to worry
There's no
about
concert
that.
coming in. Drake isn't coming to town anytime soon.
Exactly. A TV would be certainly willing, which is the most important part. They'll take a highly rated, they're desperate for it at any point, so they'll move around their schedule. Everybody will get out of the way for the NFL if they have to.
Yes, but I'm curious, has there been any outside of Saturday, which is the logical progression here when you need more days? We have Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and now Saturday, which should be open with college football not playing. Is there anything that's been talked about, discussed, anything concrete or tangible that would say
no,
okay,
not publicly? So they're not at that point, and that's been they've had many contingency discussions behind the scenes. So
right,
I'm sure things like that have been broached behind the scenes. Nothing publicly because they're not going to admit to that kind of thing until they have to, and that's probably the proper way to do it, to be honest. So yeah, from that, no, there's not saying if this happens, we're going to play on Tuesday and we're going to play in neutral sites. None of that has come to fruition, but they've had all these discussions. For instance, I talk about being forced to shut down. It's a local and state government, which the NFL has been pretty consistent with. They said you have to follow the policies of those municipalities. If they say you can't play, you just cannot play, well, then they would go to neutral sites, I believe. But there's nothing on the books. They're not going to admit that until they have to. And that's another thing where you bring up college football. You're going to have empty college stadiums as well. So if you need a neutral site, that opens up that possibility.
This is amazing. The NFL might simply backdoor their way into being the dominant sport 5-6 days a week simply because everybody else decided from a safety protocol in college and the inability to really make it work in baseball. There's not even a precedent. There's not even a sport you can point to right now and say, well, they got it right outside of a sport that's being played in a bubble.
Yeah, I certainly, and even that you can nitpick. I mean, I think it depends on who you want to talk to, and I think it depends on what kind of bent you take on moving forward, and that's a larger discussion, as we've mentioned a lot of times. That's a societal discussion that goes far beyond professional sports. I think it comes down to where we are, and we're not, as a society, prepared to say, okay, this thing's going to be here. And I always go back to Adam Silver because I think he had the best quote. You can't outrun this virus, so you got to persevere and you got to do the best you can. If we get to that point in society, I think you'll see it easier for other sports. We're not at that point. And I don't know if we're ever getting to that point. I do think, as I said pretty consistently, we'll be at that point in early November, no matter who wins.
Yeah, and I'm curious, in November, when we get to that point, if you will, of the season and kind of trying to figure out where we are, is there a team going into this that, and maybe New England is the obvious answer because of the count, but is there a team, after seeing the 66-plus names that have opted out, is there a team that you looked at that thought, man, they're not in great shape with the either names, quality-wise or quantity-wise, of who opted out?
No, if you think about it just from a number standpoint, it's only New England. I mean, it's just over 2 players per team, so statistically. So if you're under that number, you did pretty well. 3 teams didn't have any. The Chargers, I believe the Falcons, and the Steelers, I believe, are the 3. The Patriots had 8. Nobody else was even close. So, and some of them are pretty significant when you talk about Hightower and Patrick Chung and Marcus Cannon. So they've had some starting level players, and they're really the only team to take multiple hits like that. And I think the number was a little bit higher than most expected. But again, when you look at it just from a purely statistical standpoint, under 2 players per team is not going to make much of an impact. You're going to get players hurt anyway. That's part of what the NFL is, attrition. This is just a different kind of attrition. So the Patriots are far and away the loser in the opt-out count. Nobody else is even close.
Is there anything that's being discussed about a soft deadline or even marker for continuing to opt out? We saw, was it the linebacker in Minnesota right now opt out after the Cameron Smith, who discovered he had a heart issue following testing positive for COVID. So I wonder is like what happens if a player tests positive for COVID-19 week 2, is asymptomatic, comes back and is ready to go by week 4, but then finds out that they have a health issue, an underlying health issue as a result of the virus in their body. That player can't right now, as it is, John, right, opt out.
Yeah, well, a couple things. Cam Smith didn't opt out. I mean, he's having heart surgery. So, I mean, he can't play, and he'll just be put on PUP or injured reserve and move forward his contract. Won't have to toll or anything of that nature. And he's hopeful that he will be able to continue to play. They did put 2 contingencies on the opt-out. If there's a new diagnosis of an underlying health condition like Cam Smith, then you can opt out. But again, more likely the semantic version of that you would go to injured reserve anyway. So it wouldn't have any real impact. And then the second part is if a family member is hospitalized in serious condition and or God forbid passes away, then you can opt out, decide to opt out later in the season. So those are the 2 contingencies they put in place. But the first one, as I said, I don't even think from a practical standpoint, I think it's more of a PR thing, because from a practical standpoint, you would just move to injured reserve and you wouldn't need that list anyway.
All right, John, we appreciate it. I know that there's a busy day here with camp and all. And what's the latest, if you can, in the final 40 seconds or so? Can you give us an update on Doug Peterson?
No update. I can tell you he, tested positive. So you're going to have that 10-day period anyway. Now the Eagles put 3 players on the COVID list on July 29th. The first, Nate Gerry, came off on Sunday. So that's kind of the time frame. Yes, asymptomatic from sources I have. That remains the case. So that part of it is good news. I expect he'll talk via Zoom at some time this week, and we'll get some kind of an update.
Awesome, John. Thanks again, man. We'll chat on Thursday. Have a great day and a great week.
All right, thanks, Eitan. Appreciate it.
At JF McMullen, John McMullen, our NFL insider. We wrap the hour next.
Let's go. Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
Bryson DeChambeau. His swing speed has gone up to 134 miles per hour, where last year it was around 120 miles per hour. So we're talking about a massive increase in swing speed. So much so that pro golfers were going in there or imploring the PGA Tour to not, quote, Bryson-proof the next courses. I'm not trying to accuse Bryson DeChambeau of being a cheater. I don't know. What I do know, though, is that the PGA Tour's got a problem. The problem is their drug testing. If you look at the 13 years since the PGA Tour started to look at PED testing and implement their system, there's only been 3 players who have publicly failed tests for PEDs. The PGA Tour doesn't have anywhere near the list of banned substances like cycling or the NFL when they're constantly updating, they're constantly watching and monitoring their athletes.
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
Wake up call.
Every week they took a Brinks truck and dumped a boatload of money. I keep using that term. I better stop. I better find another way to use it. And they
boatload of money.
I always say that. That's my catchphrase. I know everybody says it, but I always use it. I use it too much.
What are you going to say instead?
I'm going to say shipload next time.
Oh, be careful.
That's right.
Wake up call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Wake up call.
Every week they took a Brinks truck and dumped a boatload of money. I keep using that term. I better stop. I better find another way to use it. And they
boatload of money?
I always say that. That's my catchphrase. I know everybody says it, but I always use it. I use it too much.
What are you going to say instead?
I'm going to say shipload next time.
No, be careful.
That's right.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Into the night.
Our good friend Adam Schefter zooming with us, Harry. Adam, now what about the first couple of games of the regular season? I mean, with no preseason games, they're not even allowed to scrimmage with other teams. How ugly will the first couple of games of the regular season become?
I think the brand of football that you're used to seeing will be a notch below what we've seen in other years. I think it usually opens the season that way, but what are you going to do? We all love the sport so much that it's, believe me, it's okay. But I think this year it could be the product even more diminished than it's been in previous opening years. But again, what I would say to that is that's the time we're living in. And as long as we have the games, they can play whatever diminished product they want. I don't really care. Listen, I just hope we have football for the season. We'll be happy to see a diversion, a form of entertainment on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays. And by the way, if there's no college football, who knows? Maybe Fridays and Saturdays too.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Scratching.
Hey, I've been having issues trying to pull that hole-in-one video. It's like every single time it's protected.
Really?
Yeah.
Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
So it is official. It looks at least like it's official. The Detroit Free Press has looked right now like this is has confirmed that the Big 10 has voted to cancel their season. The two schools that were resisting, Iowa and Nebraska, but overruled. And at that point, I don't really know what's left for this conference or the Pac-12, who is reportedly on that same side and will probably cancel their season, if not today, then tomorrow. A lot to talk about in the second hour. About what's going on, why it happened, and moving forward. Hate to spend so much on why this happened. I'd rather look at a solution more so than anything else. And that solution might be found in the SEC, of all places. Doesn't look like the SEC's canceling anything. Second hour right now on Sports Map Radio.
One of the big changes we're all dealing with is wearing a mask, but not all offer the same comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Naturals 3-layer comfortable breathable mask enhanced with nano silver technology. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting to your nose and mouth. They also offer nano silver neck gaiters, available in sizes for adults and children, and are in stock now and shipped to you fast. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use the promo code Tony and save 20%. That's code Tony at boomernaturals.com.
Let's go now! You're listening to the Sports Map Radio Network, your home for Tony Bruno.
Some guy named Myers Leonard. I thought that was an electronics store in Indiana.
Scott Farrell.
I've thrown out 2 first pitches, and both times I threw heat. Rock star status.
Now you can take Sports Map Radio anywhere with the new Sports Map Radio Network app. Just search Sports Map Radio in your app store today.
Myers Leonard, his prices are insane.
Check out.
The Jake Asman Show.
If you made it through 30 seconds of that without just ripping your ears off your head, you deserve a gold star, a medal. At no point did I agree with anything he said. At no point did I understand anything he said. I like Russell Wilson, the player, but I'm sorry. The Seahawks should go 2-14 based off that video alone. And as a Jet fan, and the Jets own their picks, I hope they are terrible. I hope Mr. Unlimited has a terrible season and the Seahawks lose. And I like Russell Wilson, but I can't do it. That was horrendous. I mean, That is, what is he saying? And is that Sierra in the background being like, Russ, what are we doing? What was the purpose of that video? You made it through 30 seconds. God bless you and your family.
The Jake Asman Show, weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
What's an easier costume, the Gardner Minshew or me always being Jake from State Farm every year? I would say Jake from State Farm. All you need is khaki pants, a red polo shirt, print out the State Farm logo, print out a name tag that says Jake.
All right.
And
here it is. Here's that.
You're ready to go. It is the go-to costume of mine because it's easy and people always laugh. And unlike other people that do it, my name is actually Jake.
The Jake Asman Show, weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Wake up call.
You told me.
I warned you.
You told me. You said that you thought they were trying to hang on to disco. This is 1983 Throwback Thursday. This is the ending song of Return of the Jedi. And they just turned it into a disco song.
A more upbeat.
Did this make the charts in 83?
Yes. This was in the top 100 on the Billboard chart.
What's it officially called?
It's officially called Ewok Celebration by Miko.
Can you imagine Casey Kasem having to do this on America's Top 40?
Can you imagine being in a club?
Oh, my goodness.
You're sitting there, you're just having a good time. This starts playing.
It's one of the more popular movies of the 1983, and they turned it into a disco hit. Here's Miko, the number 21 song with a bullet, with the Ewok dance. It's America's Top 40.
Wake up call with Tony B and Ron Culver, weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Pharrell.
Coast to coast. Is Saturday pro football not better than sex? If the NFL played Saturdays and Sundays, I wouldn't even talk to my wife ever, even though she's smoking hot and I love her. I mean, if there's football on Saturday and Sunday, pro football to bet on, I mean, it's junk food city and betting on football all day. Give me Saturday football. Screw college football.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell, weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
The second level.
I'm trying to be more conscious about what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, and cutting back beer. And so I tried something 2 weeks ago, and ever since, it's all I drink. Do you want to guess what it is first before I explain it to you? Because you know it's something that if I'm admitting, it's going to be something where people are either going to make fun of me or judge me for it.
White Claw.
Absolutely right. A lemon lime. I pound those things. Think about it. You're out in the hot sun. You're walking 18 and you're drinking cold carbonated seltzer. I have to now be secretive in the drink that I'm ordering.
Finally figured it out how to go back and listen to the tape.
What happened?
Jake's missing costume.
Oh, I thought you went the hole in
now,
one.
is that no?
Is that done? Do I need to find a new one?
I've not been able to find a way to convert it yet.
Are you judging me right?
I can play it off of Twitter. I can play the video straight from there onto here. It may not be as loud.
That's okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to see if I can find another one?
No. I've gone through Twitter. The ones I could do are the ones where somebody recorded their TV, which sounds like shit.
Yeah, that does sound.
Family safe on the.
But I figured out what Jake's costume was.
Nice. Okay, so why don't you save that for the show?
You sure?
Yes.
All right.
Room. Check out.
I have another Jake thing from the show later on.
Okay.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important.
In the
when you turn to
open,
Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates.
No, the whole Jake thing. I mean, that's not even. That's just something I was just going to tell you real quick.
Finance could give you that financial boost you're looking for.
Okay, what is
Call today at 8338-ROCKET.
Basically, in high school, he wore a button-down shirt, put on some nice pants, right? Then he taped a sign that said sorry on it, and he went as his Halloween costume was a formal apology.
With Jacob Media.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level.
That's terrible costume.
Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network, a show where we go beyond the box score.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, Here's Eitan Shander.
What a strange day this is on a Monday, the 10th of August, where I'm looking at the Stanley Cup playoff schedule set. We have the majority of seeding locked in place in the NBA bubble. The MLS running a successful back-to-football tournament, their own bubble. And then at the same time, we get a nice, juicy 12.5, 13-minute conversation with our NFL insider, John McMullen, who maintains the NFL is doing nothing of the sort when it comes to what college football is doing. Look, we had a great weekend from a UFC card to the PGA Championship to NBA and NHL action. Major League Baseball once again has to cancel a series, but at the very least, they're moving forward with other games. And the big news that contrasts all of that on the opposite side of all of that is college football. And it looks as if the Big Ten will make the formal announcement Tuesday. There will be no football in 2020. The Pac-12 has been rumored to fall in line, say the same thing. It's a big story right now because we just don't have not enough information. We don't know what the plan is. We don't know what the motivation is to return. We don't know how far out on the calendar all of this could be for this sport to return. So we'll talk about where we are and what we can do to get some sense of football back on the collegiate level coming up in about 3 minutes. And as mentioned, the 16-team tournament begins tomorrow. Lightning versus the Jackets, Bruins, and Carolina in the East. Vegas, Blackhawks, Stars, Flames in the West. Updated odds, the second favorite right now to win the whole damn thing sits here in Philadelphia. Oh, that futures bet is looking great at the end of February right now. Flyers, Lightning, can you see it? Can you see it? We also have an update on Jake Asman's horrific Halloween costumes. Fake news a lot this hour.
From muscle pain, body aches to strains, Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis. It works fast, and you won't stink. Its unique formula with emu oil penetrates deep to relieve arthritis pain, sore muscles.
At some point, you haven't given me a boomers yet, have you?
Oh, no, I could do that. Maybe we'll do that at the end.
Sure.
I'll break a little early. And
find Blue Emu at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and other chains, or visit blue-emu.com.
One of the big changes we're all dealing with is wearing a mask, but not all offer the same comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Naturals 3-layer comfortable breathable mask enhanced with nano silver technology. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting to your nose and mouth. They also offer nano silver neck gaiters, available in sizes for adults and children, and are in stock now and shipped to you fast. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use the promo code Tony and save 20%. That's code Tony at boomernaturals.com.
Dell supports America's entrepreneurs during Small Business Month with all you need to office anywhere. Save up to 45% on computers and servers with Intel Core processors. Upgrade to new modern devices with Windows 10. Plus, save on top brand tech while enjoying free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call 877-ASK-DELL to talk to a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the tech that's just right. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusinessdeals.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows. So when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
At the SportsMap Radio Network, we wear Boomer Naturals masks. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code SportsMapRadio for 20% off. Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
There is a, I guess, conflict, if you will. Michigan was one of the schools, because their president has a medical background, of course, that voted to cancel the 2020 season. Doesn't know at all, as we haven't gotten any word either from Michigan or any other school, including the Detroit Free Press, who confirmed this initial report. And then you have Jim Harbaugh writing this letter saying why Michigan and the Big Ten need to play. And I understand it's not like Jim Harbaugh shouldn't be allowed to write this letter or shouldn't be allowed to have a conflicting point of view, but you would like to think that Michigan and its big named head coach would be on the same page at the very least, and it looks chaotic at best. At worst, it just looks like Harbaugh doing his own thing, as he's always been rumored to have been doing his own thing, especially since day one when he walked in there. 12-2 was the final vote to cancel the football season, and Michigan was not among that group. Michigan voted to cancel. Ohio State voted to cancel. And now you have a ton of athletes, as predicted, tweeting, "We want to play." Hashtag, "We want to play." Ohio State football players, this school right now is trending in the United States on Twitter because enough players from Ohio State have gone on using the hashtag, "We want to play." This is not an easy decision. It's not an easy one to reach. It's not an easy one to make, and it's not an easy one to live by. And you're going to have to deal. If you're a university that has a college football program that's either going to be put on hold or flat out canceled, then you're going to have to deal with the human element of frustration and disappointment and anger when these kids are watching professionals play in the NFL. There are so many reasons why you can point to college football just can't do this versus the NFL. And that's probably the biggest takeaway for anybody here is don't conflate the two. I've purposely brought this conversation up specifically with John McMullen on the 2 different days that he joins us so that hopefully this casts as wide of a net to our audience as possible. The NFL doesn't care. For lack of a better phrase, the NFL doesn't care what's going on outside of the NFL. They don't. And I don't necessarily know if I blame them at this point. Why would I? If they feel like they can do it and they feel like there's enough at stake and that just fueled by greed and money alone, well, the NFL is going to do it until a governor steps in and says, you can't play football in this state. Sorry. And if that's the case, if Tom Wolf here in Pennsylvania comes down and says, sorry, Steelers and Eagles, you guys can't play in Pennsylvania, some other governor is going to raise their hand and say, we get to have a football team play in our state, in one of the biggest cities, if not the biggest city. Absolutely. Come on. Come on, Philly. Come on, Pittsburgh. Anybody else? Harrisburg, you got a semi-pro team, we'll take you too. College can't work that way. College is so fragmented right now and split up that there isn't one governing body that they can point to and say, okay, you make the decision for us. You'll see conferences now do this. First, it's the Big Ten. The Pac-12 is expected to follow suit. If not today, then tomorrow. And you're going to have a ton of players who already are speaking out, but even more pile up and say, this isn't right. The Ohio State football account. This is from Barrett Sallee. The official Ohio State football account is retweeting players who want to play, even though the Big Ten reportedly canceled football today. This sport is so beautifully dysfunctional. It's on the same vein as Michigan canceling football, saying, we voted to cancel Big Ten football this year, and then some long letter penned by their head coach about why this is a travesty and disgrace to cancel football in the first place. There is nothing consistent, nor has there been anything really ever consistent about college football. Even the postseason has changed and flopped and undergone so many different avenues to try and get to where we are now. And even then, the playoffs, they're not enough. Well, four should really be 6 or 8, and then 8 should be 12. And the next thing you know, you're talking about the March Madness NCAAs. Nothing. I don't necessarily think we should be surprised here. There isn't a governing body that they respect and follow. Every university is kind of left up to their own and then loosely involved, especially in a power conference, at the behest of maybe, and I say that operatively, of course, here, a commissioner who has power and influence around the conference. But even then, you need voting. Different parts of the country. SEC may feel we can get through this year. Big Ten may feel we can't. It might be one team ruining it for the rest of us. How are we going to survive if Rutgers can't play their football season? It's not fair to Rutgers if everybody else plays in Michigan and Minnesota, and here's Rutgers in New Jersey that can't do it. I don't know what the nature of the conversations were. All we know, and really all we have in front of us, is the end result. College football, just think about the days in which you were in college or a university, depending on how big or small your school is. It really doesn't matter in this case. I went to Gettysburg College with 2,300 kids or so when I graduated. I think there were about like 2,000 when I came in, and I don't know, 2,400 kids total when I graduated. And I can tell you that it would be physically impossible for a campus like that with even 2,400 kids to maintain some level of safety protocol with COVID-19 from an athletic standpoint. And it doesn't matter because I've been to Penn State, which is the complete opposite of small Gettysburg College. But you're just not going to be able to control activity. You're just not going to be able to really curb activity. We just saw this in baseball. I just saw this story where a guy had to go back to his city. Man, why am I blanking on this? So much in college right now. Ron, did you see this story where the baseball player was sent back home via car because he went out that night?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe.
Is this a fake news story that
no
just outed?
No.
I had it here on a couple of sites, and now I can't find it. Oh, man, that is a story in its own right.
Well, I mean, I've heard, what happened with the Marlins. It's probably something similar.
Well, they had to bus them.
Yeah. They put all 14 people in a bus and just sent them back down to Miami.
Right. Indians.
So is this what is
Dan Plesac? Zach Plesac.
Yeah. Was this a Cardinals player?
No, it's an Indians player.
No, an Indians player.
He was sent back to Cleveland in a car service yesterday after the young right-hander violated team rules and MLB's COVID-19 protocols.
I did hear about him, yes.
The 25-year-old went out with friends on Saturday in Chicago following his team's win against the White Sox. This is a paid professional athlete. This is why I laugh when people thought that the Miami Marlins was going to be some wake-up call to everybody else in baseball. And then you had the St. Louis Cardinals issue. Now it's an individual issue. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 10 or 15 people. The point of this is that you have professional athletes, and it's going to happen in the NFL. professionals who are looking around saying, it's worth it. This is a risk. It's worth it. You needed a bubble. You needed something. And even then we saw Lou Williams and others, when they get out, you mess around with the bubble. You can get out of the bubble. Yeah. Cal weighing in on the Twitch channel. You can follow us, twitch.tv/Shander Show. We love Cal. He is our associate producer on this end and makes everything look great, cuts things up for us to repost. Says PSU tailgates literally have thousands of people. It's insanity. And if you think that people are just going to stay back in their rooms because they can't go physically and sit down at a game and not congregate, you've been away from college, or you don't have any college-age kids in your family for way too long. Way too long. 25-year-old right-hander violated team and MLB rules to go out with friends Saturday night. Immediately sent home in a car service on Sunday back to Cleveland. We'll send your ass back to Cleveland in an Uber. This is happening across the board in professional sports. Are you telling me, do you honestly believe that if the rules were not as stringent in place in the bubble, that if it were a little more lax in either Orlando, Toronto, or even Edmonton, and that's probably the best test case to relax the rules in Edmonton, but that's the point, is that these guys are now basically herded together. And there's so much happening from a rule and what happens if you break the rule standpoint, and so much more at risk because you don't want to be the guy that infects the entire bubble. You don't want to be that one player who goes out and comes back in and infects 50 people, because the nature of a bubble is like a brush fire. Same situation that we see in non-bubble sports, except, of course, with guys just not caring. Not caring. Why else would Zach Plesac do that? Why? Because he thought, don't worry about it. I can get around it. He did not care. And if you think that that factor is not being weighed right now with ADs and universities voting to cancel the season, then I've got real estate that connects New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and it's cheap. And you can hit me up on DM. My DMs are open. What are you thinking? That this is all precautionary? That there isn't a real threat that's sitting right now with this virus? And then to compound the threat, activity, human behavior. Professional sports leagues are having trouble curbing actual behavior. You think that college football or any other sport in college is going to have an easy time doing this just because of certain protocol that's in place? Here's another thing, too. Are you going to suspend? Are you going to boot your top player now? You saw what happened in that one, was it Louisville, where they had the soccer story go down, and you had two kids kicked out, suspended, first off, booted from the team, and then suspended from the university because they organized a party. Look, I'm 42 years old. I make bad decisions every single day. In fact, chances are I'll make a couple bad decisions every single day. It's probably on the same line as my picks for Odds Checker right now, which I'm lucky to break even when it comes to good decisions and bad decisions. But, you know, you live through them. I recognize this is not me judging, looking down, holding my nose as I'm talking about a 21-year-old kid. It's me understanding. It's me connecting. It's me validating that concern. And it's not just one 20-year-old. There's a party. There's something off campus. There is always going to be a temptation. I have never been tempted more than when I was in college. The older I got, the more I did in school, the more I would be out and about, the more groups of people I would connect and contact with. And 2,400 kids, it's, you know, everybody by the time you graduate. The temptations were constantly there. That's probably why I graduated with like a C+ average. I fight it. It should be a B-, but there's still an issue that I gave up going back and forth on in my transcript. That's the reason. That's it. That's why kids, when they come from a household with a strict set of rules, which is fine, which is great. You can be a parent any way you want. Now there is this sense of freedom that you have to balance. Wait a minute. You mean I don't need to go to class? I mean, I could just sleep through this entire semester and show up for tests and get a C+. Okay, I can do that. This had to be done. It doesn't mean that it has to be done in the NFL. It means it must have gone down the way it did. And I expect a domino effect now. The SEC is probably going to be the lone holdout. We'll talk about that in 13 minutes. Fake news next with Ron Culver on the Second Level on Sports Map Radio.
Into the night.
Over the weekend, I wasn't on the internet much. I was just chilling by. Well, you were in a pool. I wasn't in the pool all the time, but I was playing with the chickens. I was picking eggs, helping my son work on his outboard motor. Yeah, I'm doing like all kinds of country eggs. Yeah, we go every day.
You gather. You don't pick them.
I pick them.
You gather eggs.
Is this like an egg hunt? No. My son has 14 chickens, and they walk around all day, and they're eating everything. Right. It's amazing. Chickens roam around, but they know when to go home at night. They're like me. Yeah, they're like Harry. Hey, it's about time. It's getting a little dark out there. Get the hell out of here, man. Some possum's going to come up and eat
Chickens
us.
go home to roost. Harry, that's what he does. He goes home to roost.
I always say the chickens are going to come home to roost one of these days, and they do every single night. And then I would lead them in. I was actually leading a brigade of chickens.
You know, I needed video of that. Were you doing a show for the chickens? Like,
no, they love me. The chickens are great. You pick them up. They walk up to you.
Yeah.
I am the chicken whisperer. They're awesome.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Into the night.
So we found out that white bros in the bubble are doing the beer shotgunning. J.J. Redick and some guy named
Myers Leonard.
Myers Leonard. I thought that was an electronics store in Indiana. Go to Myers Leonard today and get yourself a brand new 75-inch plasma.
50% off on VCRs.
Harry, it's Myers Leonard. His prices are insane.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Wake up call. Patrick Mahomes has had a career that feels like he's made a deal with the devil.
Yes.
Like Patrick Mahomes is having a story. It's like when Disney makes those Kid Makes a Wish movies and everything is just doesn't make any sense. And like, how is he doing this? And he's like got a genie or something, or he makes a wish and magically he's able to do a million things immediately that you're like, wow. Patrick Mahomes went from C+, I can't believe the Chiefs moved up in the draft to get this guy who's a massive work in progress, to he doesn't have enough shelf space for all the awards that are coming his way 3 years into this league. Like
not even like 3. It's
like
2.5.
2.5, really, because he played one game his rookie season.
Yeah.
So the 2 full years that he's been the quarterback of the Chiefs, he doesn't have enough shelf space for all the awards that are piling at his house.
Wake Up Call with Tony B and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Wake up call. Please, God, if it does come to that, can we have the Walking Dead zombies, not the World War Z?
Yeah, I don't need the fast-moving.
Superhuman.
Ooh,
I'm not outrunning a World War Z zombie.
I'm the guy you bring because secretly you know I can't keep up with the rest of the group. Hey, I'm going to take Bob and Jim and Tony. You come with us, too. And everybody knows why you're bringing me. So when push comes to shove, I'm the meal.
Wake Up Call with Tony B and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
So, can I ask you a question?
Fake news with Ron. With all the fake news out there,
Don't believe those lies.
it's on Shander to give it to you straight. 3 stories, but only one is fake.
It's true. I know it's a weird thought, but it's true.
Can Shander spot the fraud? Here's Ron Culver.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
And because at least we know Matt Peralt is listening to this show. I can't promise Jake Asman, Tony. I know Scotty isn't.
Is he forced to?
He might be.
He might be.
He might be.
And, might be in his contract.
I don't know. And maybe it's like as far as a monitoring. Maybe Peralt has that built into his deal where he's monitoring the final 40 minutes of this show just to make sure that nothing is said or done that would damage the lead-in to his show, pushing the odds 1 to 4 Eastern across all networks.
Well,
here.
if that's the case, he's not doing a good job.
Well, yes, he's not doing a good job as far as taking what should be brought back to management and saying, hey, but at the same time, he's clearly doing a good job monitoring the program. He nailed Plesac right away. I'm just drowning, looking for a life vest, and you're laughing at me as the deck of the Titanic crumbles as well.
Well, because I'm already sitting in a lifeboat.
No, you had no idea who I was even talking about.
That's true.
You just wanted to go get back to safety. Unbelievable.
I just went on another boat.
Now, if this Plesac story wasn't fake news, then my goodness, man. All right.
No, I didn't have the Plesac story in fake news.
Okay.
I went a different route.
Thank you. Okay.
You ready for it?
I am ready.
Feeling confident?
That's a new week. I don't know what to
It is a
expect
new week.
from you.
All right. Carol Baskin is proud to be the
Again?
supplier of exotic cats to the stars.
Carol we can't get away from this woman?
No, we can't. Recently, she provided the tiger and cheetah in Cardi B's and Megan Thee Stallion's WAP video. Did you see that video?
No, I did not. I'm not a fan of either, so I don't know why I would seek them out.
At first, for whatever reason, they had tigers and cheetahs in the video. I myself have not seen the video either, but you saw the story that Carol Baskin was proud to be the supplier of these exotic cats.
Does Carol Baskin now remove the go-to association of Mike Tyson with tigers and become the go-to person you think of when you hear the word tiger?
I think so. I think she's kind of taking it away from Joe Exotic, Mr. Tiger King himself, because he's behind bars. There's nothing he can do.
Well, yeah, I don't even count him. I feel like Carol Baskin is the most famous name from Tiger King.
She might be negative and positive. That's how you either love her or you hate her.
Okay. So this is story one here.
That's story one.
My goodness.
Story number two. The NHL wins Dad Joke of the Year. When in the Edmonton bubble, they took the time to thank all the fans for their support. Then the camera panned to the 4 fans in the stands. And you got to picture it. It's a dad joke.
Right.
The fans were actual fans, not people. Fans that blow air conditioning.
Yeah, so it was literal.
Somebody had set up 4 fans in the stands.
And Edmonton was the one who said thank you because the host city got knocked out.
Well, it's the Edmonton bubble.
Oh,
I'm saying the Edmonton bubble because the Toronto bubble hasn't done anything. Hasn't had as much fun.
Yeah, I mean Toronto, you have enough fun outside that city or outside the bubble. In Edmonton,
you can't have fun out there.
Well, yes, but at least there is something you can look at from your hotel room.
But I'm saying the NHL, since they're the sponsor, they're having a little bit of fun with this. They also not in the year, but in the bubble play, announced tonight's attendance as 0.
Okay.
So they've been having fun.
I see that.
They've been having fun with the dad jokes.
It does remind me of that great Simpsons episode where they had this short little aside to Homer watching curling.
Yeah.
On television. And the announcer is saying, "Oh, what an amazing effort by them." And then the color guy comes in and says, "That's right, Ted. Both fans should be thrilled with what they've seen." But they weren't using actual fans like in this case. All right. What's the third story?
Story number 3. And what I'm about to say, you're going to literally hope that the fake news is down between 2 choices after I tell you this story.
Oh, no.
Okay. You're going to pray that this story that I'm about to tell you is true. And it could be, or it may not be. I got to give credit where credit is due.
Uh-oh. I don't know if I like this.
Jake schooled me on air about a tweet you had sent over the weekend.
Okay.
Or did he?
Are you going to give me, if you mention the tweet, it would give it away?
Well, the tweet in concern was you mentioning that the Washington football team was about to release their new name in 15 minutes.
I don't understand how people didn't get this. Like, did Jake Asman, was he part? I got somebody who tweeted me 5 times saying, "Hey, it's been 3 hours. Any update?" Did nobody understand this joke? It's not even a dad joke. Did Asman really think that I was going to announce the name of the team, and that got like 3,000 impressions.
All right, so what's the fake news story today?
Well, that happened. My tweet. I don't know if Asman actually called you out or schooled you on the air. Wow. I'm torn here. I'm going to say the first story, but it's a guess.
So the first story is your answer?
Yes.
Final answer?
Yes. I'm locked in.
Locked in. You are correct, my young man.
Total guess.
I do have audio to play.
I love it. Let's do that next.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage.
How does
Making the right financial decisions has never been more important.
Geis.
You didn't listen to the question all the way. Or the story. I got to give credit where credit is due because Jake schooled me on air about a tweet you had sent over the weekend.
Right.
The boost you're
That's a
looking
real
for.
story.
Yes. I have the audio to back it up.
Perfect.
I grabbed the audio
I love
specifically for
I
this.
love it. Great.
Because you're going to have some fun.
During Small Business Month.
And yeah, we should just probably jump right into it. I know there's college football is on the brink of disaster, but
no, it's fine. We
Modern
talked
devices
about it
with
for
Windows
90
10.
minutes.
Plus, save on top brand tech
I'll
while
mention it
enjoying
again
free
before
shipping on
we
everything and
break
special
that college
financing with
football's
Dell
in
Business
peril.
Credit.
I also
Call
have to.
877
Oh my God! I
to
made
talk to a
such
Dell Technologies
I made a
advisor who
terrible
can help you
mistake
find the
last
tech
night,
that's
and I
just
even
right. That's
contacted
877
DraftKings
Ask
to try
Dell
and get
or
out of
visit
it, and
Dell.
they wouldn't let me. Oh my goodness!
do me a favor. When we come back, do a boomer.
Okay.
Small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, a 12-pack of Staples No. 2 pencils, 120-sheet filler paper, and select
Whenever I'm
plastic pencil
streaming
boxes
on
are just
Twitter,
50 cents each.
and I
Shop
put a
in
tweet
store
out,
or pick up curbside.
It's just
School on,
zero
save on
impression.
at Staples.
Ends 8/15. Filler paper and pencil boxes valid in store only.
can't
Limit
get
6.
anybody to
Limits
see
vary
it.
online.
I
While
don't
supplies
even know
last. Curbside
at this
available
point
in
why.
most stores.
But every time I'm streaming and that happens.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house. The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I call Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal. We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who will get the IRS off your back.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Call Tax Solutions now. Time is running out. Call 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744.
You're listening to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
All right, so a couple of things, including this tweet that I just saw, and it's great because people need validation on Twitter. And it's great to see a tweet go viral and see 2.5 thousand retweets and 12.3 thousand likes. And you've done something as a result of that. But the substance in these tweets lacks. And it's just amazing where we are right now. That there are people who believe there is a direct correlation to what isn't or didn't happen regarding the correct practices in social distancing, mask wearing, and, of course, washing your hands, which has been a forgotten element of all of this, to the person who has refused to do all that. And I'll read you this tweet. Julie Stewart Binks, I don't know who she is, at JSB_TV. It was retweeted into my timeline by somebody. The people clamoring for a CFB season should have put as much effort into telling people to wear a mask, social distance, and stay at home for the last 5 months. And I responded with what should be everybody's experiences here on social media, which is, and I don't know where this disconnect happened or was born from, but how often are you on social media arguing with somebody who disagrees or doesn't see how you see something? And how often is that person's mind changed? It's one thing even if you know this person. I mean, there are plenty of people that I vehemently disagree with that I either follow or interact with on Twitter. I can tell you that it doesn't matter if they're a radio host or if there's somebody that I've known just via Twitter or whatever the case may be. If you are having an argument and you're trying to correct somebody's behavior, the last place that you are going to find true victory is on social media. The idea that somebody who wasn't wearing a mask or practicing social distancing or not washing their hands or just flippantly going out left and right would have done the opposite if you simply tweeted more is so bizarre to me. It is completely ridiculous to me that people actually think that if you simply yelled into space more and if you shook your fist more at a stranger on Twitter, that stranger and all the other strangers would miraculously have changed their practices and behavior. It's no knock on Ms. Binks or anybody else. Stewart Binks, pardon me, as the hyphenated last name, or anybody else. It's just this sobering realization that I think a lot of people should have, if you're not there already, that you tweeting at somebody to change something or to remove this blockade in their mind or to come over to your side doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's why conversations between one reporter and one political analyst, one reporter from the New York Times and a political strategist from Fox News isn't about those two going at it. It's about all of the small egg accounts that are just yelling at each other below in the thread. It's a complete misunderstanding of where we are right now. It doesn't mean that those people were right in not practicing those things that Julie Stewart Binks tweeted about. It's the idea that anybody right now upset about college football, yelling and screaming about no college football, should have been telling people to wear a mask. And my response is that person who wasn't wearing a mask for the past 3-4 months ain't going to start wearing one now because they saw a tweet on their timeline that essentially calls them out. Human beings, especially in this culture, in this country, don't take kindly to being called out by strangers on social media unless there is a ton of brand accountability. Oh, look, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. I don't want to lose the million fans that I have, or I don't want to lose money coming in from a brand that has chosen to align with me. That's one thing. The other part of it is some egg account with 106 followers who hasn't been active since 2015 that picks and chooses where they respond, basically a bot, now is going to change their behavior. That person who is tweeting the 4chan and the QAnon and all the other conspiracies that are out somehow would have changed their practices if you simply tweeted more. That's it. I think that it's insanity for anybody to think about their change in behavior would have come from more tweets or more yelling. That's it. I don't know where you would get a different type of conclusion here. I don't know how you could get something to where people honestly believe that social media is working to change minds and change opinions. Now, Speaking of masks, we know that this is a humongous deal and challenge right now. It's finding a mask that offers comfort and protection. So we here at Sports Map Radio, myself included, recommend the Boomer Naturals 3-layer comfortable and highly breathable mask. These come in sizes for adults, teens, and children and are in stock now, and they'll ship to you fast. And one reason why these are highly protective, Boomer Naturals has the nano silver technology woven into the fabric. So the nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting to the nose and mouth, and that's what we want right now. It's the best protection out there. Boomer also offers those popular nano silver neck gaiters, so your neck gaiter can be truly protected with the nano silver technology. Order now, boomernaturals.com. Use our promo code SPORTS, and you can save 20%. SPORTS at boomernaturals.com, and you can save 20%. Get free shipping and handling when you spend at least $50 online at boomernaturals.com. And another great thing, Boomer donates one face cover for every order to nonprofits and charities, helping tens of thousands of Americans in need, and we love that. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show. So one of the stories that turned out to be real in fake news, we also have this hole-in-one that we'll probably just save for one for the road because I can't imagine watching what I watched and anybody else reacting the same way. But Ron pulled this audio for the fake news, the third story, which is Jake Asman schooling you on a tweet that I sent over the weekend.
Yep.
All right. Now, I have no idea. I purposely have not listened to anything ahead of time. I didn't screen this, and I'm not nervous like you were before you played my audio that I sent you last week.
Right. Well, because, it's me and Jake.
Right.
Yeah. Constant professionals here.
Okay.
But you had sent a tweet out over the weekend shortly after guys of the Washington football team had been cut from the team, or was it when he got arrested?
No, it's when he was immediately cut.
When he was immediately
this
cut.
Was Friday night.
Yeah, no, I just didn't remember what the timeline was when this tweet was sent out. And this is the result of that said tweet.
Okay.
They had to move quickly. So, give them credit, but I also think at the same time, what choice did they have?
No, they don't. They don't have a choice. I mean, it was an easy choice for them. Easier than them deciding on a new name.
Yeah. Right now they have a name. They're just the Washington football team. What a name.
And what was all that rumor? I got to talk to the guy after you who tweeted out that a new name was going to be announced in 15 minutes. Did you see that?
Yeah,
tweet?
so I think Eitan was making the joke, basically being like, "Oh, we have a bad PR story. Well, let's announce a new name so no one's talking about Darius."
Well, that was a bad joke. It went over my head.
Yeah, he fooled you. Eitan.
Yeah, it wasn't on dad joke level. That's what I need.
See, I'm on Eitan's level there. I think he was doing a little like joking troll, being like, "Oh, watch them put out their name now because no one will talk about Darius. Guys, we'll be talking about their new name." The old Friday news dump, in a sense that we're just going to change the narrative, get out in front and put something out there. To the NBA now.
That was awesome. And thank you, Jake Asman, for all the you-know-what that you get on this show, mainly for Ron Culver.
What?
Look at that guy standing up for me, and he said even I'm on his level. Jake Asman is on the second level. I was trying to bring you up there with that joke on Friday. I can't believe, of all people, you took it literally. Of all people, like you were the one person I thought I would be able to count on that would understand my humor in that tweet.
Here's
and you
the
were
deal.
waiting for the news. You were waiting
Here's
for the name.
deal. I know how close you are with McMullen. I thought maybe McMullen had an inside source. He's a great NFL insider. I waited with bated breath, man. I'm like, come on, give me to it. I need some juice. Give me into this weekend. I want to know what Washington is up to.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to get like that. Wasn't even my intent.
I missed the mark on that one.
You're not alone,
I know I'm not alone. I've read a lot of the people, and I'm like, okay, yeah, Eitan, 15 minutes, and now it's an hour. What's going on?
I can't believe. First off, when have I ever broke news before in my life? I'll break wind before I break news on this show over the air. So it's not going to happen. I'm not going to break any news. If I get a nugget, then it's because people can't trust me. That's why. Hey, Brett Brown's going to get fired tomorrow. Really? Can I say something now? No, don't say a word. And it's already over the internet and everywhere. Brett Brown's going to get fired. I can't talk about it. I'm starting this new show locally here. I'm part of a show on the local Fox 29 affiliate. It's going to be a sports-related show. I can't talk about it. I signed the paperwork and everything. I don't know I don't think the announcement's going to come down for like another 2 weeks, and I can't talk about it. So I'm terrible at keeping secrets and trying to hold off from telling everybody my business or anybody else's business. And also, just to clear this up, at no point was that meant to get anybody. Like Asman nailed it. That was a perfect description of what I was doing, was just making a joke at the Washington football team's expense. All right, real quick, this is ridiculous. And I even tried to contact DraftKings on this. But before we break, and we'll hit one for the road with this ridiculous hole-in-one. So a unit, I know people don't like to talk about units and specifically mention how much a unit is. A unit for me is usually $25. $25 is usually a unit for me when I'll bet. Every now and again, you fluctuate. Sometimes you feel really good about something, you bump it up to 50. Other times it's like, just throw $10 on that and you move on. I'm not beholden to this number, but normally a unit is $25 for me. So I saw a really good parlay here where the Lakers money line and the under, I think it's 221.5, pays out at plus 185 for that parlay. 221 now it's down to. So last night, and this is why you don't bet when you're either drunk or under the influence or simply really, really tired. And I was really, really tired last night. So DraftKings has an option when you actually get on the app to either type in manually the number, or you can hit, like the plus 20, plus 5, or plus 1 to get to a certain number. So I never do this, but I was so tired, so I manually typed in the number. Now, I had just collected like 10 different bets that hit over the weekend on the PGA. So I had a decent amount of money stashed in that account. And as you know, a unit for me is $25. So I'm thinking, okay, let me just place a unit on this Lakers money line and under 221.5 parlay. I was so tired that I guess my thumb slipped and I hit an extra 1. So I now have a $251 bet, even despite me begging DraftKings to take it off my account, immediately just remove it. They said, sorry, we can't do this. You're locked into this bet. So I am as big of a Lakers fan tonight as anybody out there, and then some. And hopefully the Denver Nuggets don't knock down 3 after 3. You know what's going to happen is that the Lakers will win this thing, and it'll probably hit like 230. Oh, worst possible. I wasn't even drunk. Like, I couldn't even chalk it up to 15 White Claws. One for the road next.
The Jake Asman Show.
Unbelievable. The great Tim Kirchin joins us now.
I
So what
tried,
is your
man.
confidence level right now?
I called them up, and they wouldn't take it off.
Of course not.
No.
Jeez.
I should have created some lie as far as why I did that.
On this.
I still don't think they would have done it.
No.
Through. There were all sorts
It happened
of
one
reports
time
that
to
the
me on
season could end
FanDuel.
as early as today. That simply
I made a
is not
mistake,
going
and
to
I
happen.
immediately called them up and said, look, I didn't mean to place
and
this
it
bet. Can
should
you
be
please take it
given
off my
what
account?
it's
And they
up
basically said
against
it's a one-time
pandemic
thing.
like we've never seen before. And my guess is if we have another outbreak like the Marlins or even like the Cardinals, then that might be enough.
But if it hits,
Game is in question,
Well,
but most important,
If it hits, it's going to
the
pay out
health and safety of all
$750.
people around.
which you won't mind at all.
No, but
Enough
it's
to say we're
come on,
not going to play.
that's the whole
The Jake
deal. Like,
Asman
imagine
Show, weekday mornings from
betting
9 to 11
$10
Eastern.
and then you mistakenly put 1,000 on something.
Right.
I don't have
It's
the money to
Sports
ride
Map
this out.
Radio Network.
Let's face facts. It really is amazing.
Your home for Tony Bruno.
He has a
Now, could
take,
you
but he
come
sorta
out
sucks at
with
the same
the audio,
time.
or should we
you had
set
a
it up?
take or two.
No, maybe it'll come out with it.
Okay.
Bobby, can you get my divorce lawyer on the phone, please? Because I'm going to watch 6 hockey games a day, and I'm not even going to bathe.
The nation's fastest growing 24/7 radio network is the Sports Map Radio Network. Beautiful. Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
Rex Carpenter covers the Washington NFL franchise for the Washington Post. There were such rampant rumors flying around. I'm sure you guys heard about that. How difficult was that? There was just such craziness around what you guys were going to put out.
There were some people in the media, mostly in this market, that kind of fed that early on, and I think that allowed everyone to sort of let their imaginations run wild. That's what upsets me the most. Yeah, I can't say this enough. 50 women had the courage to come forward and talk about their experiences, and I feel like in some ways that has been belittled, just some of the things I've seen on the internet, and that's just disappointing. This is not a nothing story. This is serious, and I realize there's a lot of people who would like the owner gone, would like things to change with the franchise in that regard. But please listen to what these women are saying. It is so important. And I use the word heartbreaking, but that's the word that just kept coming back to my mind. I just can't believe they went through this.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
In no world is Lamar Jackson a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. I love Lamar. Did he deserve to win the MVP last year? Obviously. But if you ask any NFL executive who would they rather have right now, Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, the executive that tells you Lamar Jackson is being paid a large sum of money by someone that really loves Lamar Jackson.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Been on at par 3 11th. Made the only birdie of the day at number 9, the toughest hole on the course. And a hole-in-one. Hey! And the crowd goes crazy.
That had to be courtesy of ESPN. Oh, no, I think that was CBS on the final day. That had to be the most subdued reaction ever to a hole-in-one. Now, he finished tied for 22nd. He was 6 under on the day, 4 under on the tournament. So it's not like he was out of it, and this was the lone thing he did that day. You saw the video. He raised his arms up, kind of like, hey, it happened, and then they just move on.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's part of the thing. Like, you wish there was a crowd. Now, what would you say? What was a better shot, that one or Morikawa's 16th?
Oh, man. Well, Morikawa's 16th essentially won it for him.
Yeah, but I mean,
it was an amazing shot.
I think the 16th, just simply because of the stones he had.
To go for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, I mean, he was, like 190 out or something?
No, it was a par 4 that he drove the green in.
Well, he drove the green, right.
7 feet from the cup.
293 tee shot. That's what it was.
Yeah.
No, I still think whenever you hit a hole-in-one, you just have to celebrate like you hit a hole-in-one. My goodness, I wouldn't be shutting up for a month. All right.
The reminder, I will not be in tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, right.
Saturday, pro football.
Grab somebody then.
Yeah, you'll have Sean.
Sean? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I wouldn't even
All
talk
right,
to
I'll
my
see you
wife.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
All right, have a good one.
All right, you too, buddy.
On Saturday.
All right, fellas. Appreciate you listening.